And we are live.
Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. I am Mixlam. He is the Miles Revolution. We are two freaks doing a show. We are with you live as always on Thursdays at 6 Pacific. And I am echoing here. Hang on. Why am I echoing? Hang on. Am I still echoing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Did you hear me echo?
Not particularly.
You didn't hear me. Okay, I just kept hearing myself echo back. So maybe it's either in my head or I don't know. But anyway, as I was saying, we're here live every Thursday at 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Central, and 9 o'clock Eastern, talking about America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Woof. So
what an episode.
What do we think about the episodes this week?
Well, the episode this week has actually met my expectations for some of the acts who didn't do as well as I thought they wouldn't do, and some of them did as well as I thought they would. So they met, like I say, they met my expectations.
This show was exactly what I expected. This was exactly what I expected from the acts, but the results show was not what I was expecting, and I was very, very, very unhappy about the results. And yeah, over in the chat, Russell, you shouldn't be able to hear yourself. I don't think I can't hear myself anymore. I just plugged my thing in a little, and then the echo went away.
Yeah, okay.
But now I'm good. But Miles, what do you think about who went through? Is this one who you thought would go through, and two who you thought should go through?
I was pretty sure that Putri would go through. Just because, and I know what somebody said in our previous chats, that she has pretty much an Indian audience, but I don't know that that's correct. Because she has the biggest social media gain in followers over anybody who's been on the show this season. So I was pretty much, I will say 99.9% positive that she would be in the top two, or one of the two going through. The others, one going through was kind of a mixed bag. I wasn't exactly sure, but I knew she would be.
So, all right. So here were my top 5 favorites.
All right.
Look at my notes here. Okay, so number 5. Okay, first off, let me preface that this show was as bad as I thought it was going to be. Next week, on the other hand, there are like 4 solid acts, if not 5. And I was really sad to see there were so many non-deserving acts in this episode. But with that said, it's a week 5, but it's a 5.
Okay.
Warrior Squad.
Yes, I agree.
5.
Yep.
Number 4, I had Mose.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3, here's most people are going to disagree with me, but I put this one on my Twitter. Summer Rios at 3. 2, I had Trig Watson, and 1, I had Horwan.
I thought he for sure would go through. I thought he was one of the best acts of the night.
He didn't even make top 5, right?
I know. I was like, really? That was one of the. I don't know. That was one of the best. One of the most super best, goodest acts that could have been on there.
Yeah, that was so good. Super. And I thought clearly it would be him and Putri that would go through. Putri wasn't in my top 5. I know. People probably come at me for this, but
well, that's okay.
But she wasn't in my top 5. But I thought she would go through. I thought it was going to be her and Horwin, and that would just be that. When he didn't get in top 5, I was shocked. I was real surprised.
Yeah, I was extremely shocked.
America really got it wrong this week, and I've said that a lot, but I say I don't know why I watch AGT. I watch every season. And every season I go through the same thing, and I get really upset, and I say, this is so dumb. And I'm really excited for the finals. And by the time the finals gets here, I'm like, none of the people that I think should be in the finals are actually in the finals. And
Well,
it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
My top 5 was Warrior Squad, so I agree on that one. Trig Watson was my top 5. And I wasn't originally going to put Philip Bowen in it because I thought he was more just a social media act. But for this particular episode, I thought he actually put on a pretty darn good show for what he did. And that made it entertaining. The song, I don't even know what he played. It wasn't even significant. But I thought just from that show that perhaps he would get voted through. Herwan, of course, and then Putri. MOS Brass, they were probably playing. I still wonder if they were just dancing along to a click track. Because that's the way a lot of the modern things are anyway.
Yeah, well, everybody has a click track now.
Yeah.
Everybody has a click track.
And then who else was doing that? The Masani Youth Choir. I know that the lead vocalist was singing and that was coming through the PA. But I don't think the dancers, they may have had headset mics on, but I think they were just singing along to a recording.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's the way most acts perform nowadays. Nobody's really truly live.
Well, some of them are, and it's obvious when they are.
Yeah, it's very rare.
But
it's cooler when they are, though.
But the backups in the Masani Youth Choir, Mazansi Youth Choir, was too perfect for them to be dancing the back, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
I once was at a show where a guy did Christian rap, and he was just lipping, and his mic wasn't even on. And I was like, "This is terrible!" And he wasn't even always moving his lips with the thing. So, anyway.
So I was just looking. We have in the finals. We have Lavender, Murmuration, Mazzoni Youth Choir, and Putri. That is 4 golden buzzers. And how many golden buzzers haven't made it? 1. I know the drum Atlanta drum.
Yeah.
They were golden buzzer. Are they the only golden buzzer that didn't make it so far? I don't remember. But somebody in the chat probably knows. But I remember asking our friend in the chat who came on one day with us, and we were asking him how many golden buzzers could make it, and he thought almost all of them. I thought he was crazy.
But, yeah, the only odd one really is the Adrian and Hurricane.
Yeah. That one came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, let's go through the acts and see get a little more specific about some of these.
Let's do that. Bam. Okay. AGT Live 3. Warrior Squad. I actually thought this was a pretty decent act, and I'm kind of I know why they were in the top 5 because they were good enough to watch. I mean, it was entertaining. Some of the things, the moves they did, it was pretty unique, I thought. And of course, you can't fake what they're doing. So I really liked it, and I'm not upset that they didn't go through to the finals, but I am glad that they were in the top 5 because they should have been.
They should have been in the top 5. And the reason they should have been in the top 5 is because they were on a weak episode. This would normally not be a top 5 act for me. I didn't love it. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. There was just something about it that was missing for me. It was one of those acts where it just seems like it could have been better. They have all the talent in the world, but there is something missing there. In my notes, I wrote, cool but forgettable. And I said to my wife when we were watching it, those exact words. They said, "This is cool, but it's forgettable." And I said, "I bet by the time I do the podcast, I'm going to forget what they actually did during the act." And I did. I've forgotten what they did during the act. Without even with the picture, I can't explain to you all what I saw. I forgot it. I remember it was cool, but I don't know. It's just some of these acts. And again, I don't always know what it is, but there's just something that doesn't grab you. But they have all the talent in the world, and so it was cool enough. So it's a top 5 act for this episode.
And the flying through the air, that was pretty cool that they did.
Yeah.
So
It's not bad.
What I remember about this, as I was watching it, the first thing that came to my mind was circus. So I know circuses are kind of a thing in the past, but this was pure circus act to me.
Yeah.
Without the nets.
But circusy things can still go in Vegas. So
yeah.
You know, if I saw this live as part of a larger act, I'm sure it's cool live.
Yeah, I'm sure it is too.
So yeah, I'm not mad at it being in a top 5 here.
Yeah, that's all I got on them otherwise. And if they were in Vegas, I could understand that. Trig Watson. I really thought this was very creative, and I do kind of agree it did kind of have a slump in the middle. But the thing that was unique about Trig is he had all these other little things that were going on that I don't know if people caught him. And the reason it was probably odd is because he's using technology in a magical way that nobody's ever done, at least that I've ever seen before. And then in the end, my wife says, "Hey, look, he's got that picture folded in half. How did he do that?" So I think he should have. Now, he didn't make it to the top 5, did he?
No, he didn't even make it to the top 5.
I really thought that was odd. But maybe it's just because the audience just didn't get him. Because it wasn't cards. It wasn't cards and coins.
I liked this, but I didn't love this. And I wanted to love it because I like Trig. Say, friend of the show, he's been on with us. Cool guy, love magicians. I liked this, but I didn't love it. It was almost, I almost kind of predicted what he was doing. And I don't like to be able to do that. I mean, obviously that thing wasn't a TV. And he pulled that out. So somehow he was able to take her picture, put it in, and it was like the thing he slid it in, I think almost like took a picture of like, you know, like how, I don't know if I'm making any sense here or I'm just thinking crazy. But you know when you have the picture on your TV and sometimes it'll freeze and you turn off the picture and it'll still kind of be there. It'll get... On old TVs, the picture would just kind of get stuck on the screen, right? It seems like the screen that he had the thing in almost seems like it took a picture of like what was just on there or something.
That could be.
And that's what I was thinking when he put it on there. I was like, oh, I bet it'll stick on there. I kind of guessed what was happening. And then when he did it, I was like, oh, okay. But I don't know how he did it, but I have some ideas. And I don't like to have ideas on how magicians do things. So he was still top 5 worthy. And like I said, he would have been for this episode. He would have been my top 2 to go through, but he wouldn't have been a top 2 normally on a better show, but he definitely deserved to get through with this group.
Well, according to McGavin, he said that the talk is that he was a little bit sloppy with his presentation. And I suppose you could put it that way. But
it was almost looking at Gavin and the YouTube comments there. Trig's act was sloppy in parts. I love the audition, but this time some of the moments weren't timed correctly. The paper pass when he was giving the paper to Kyle through the screen was off in timing. Yeah, I noticed that too because he kind of had to like hit there, like the timing wasn't off, and it was a little too cute. And this is just personal. This is personal preference with magicians for me. When it comes to magic,
Right.
simple is better to me. I like guys like David Blaine and people that throw cards up in the air and do this. This was just a little too cute. It was a little hard to follow what was exactly going on.
That is
And
true.
yeah, I thought it could just be a little simpler. He could have done this trick in 60 seconds and gone on to something else. And I thought it would have been cooler. And I hate saying this because, like McGavin says here in the YouTube comments, I'm also a big Trig fan. I say he's on the show. I like him personally. I was hoping that I would love this more than I did.
And that's probably why he didn't make it in the top 5, because the voters didn't love it as much as they wanted to.
You really had to follow it the whole time. And I
Yeah.
feel like the payoff wasn't as big as the buildup. And like the judges said, the buildup wasn't that exciting. It wasn't funny throughout and all of these other things. So yeah, I just wasn't that invested.
Well,
But
okay.
But with that said, he was still in my final 2. So
Yep. All right.
I wish he would have made it. I wish it would have been better though.
Summer Rios. Now, you said that you thought she should have gone through, and I thought that this act was boring. And I think my personal opinion is I think the producers made it boring. Not Summer, but the producers.
This girl, I think I said this during the auditions too. I don't remember. But she's got star written all over her. The show's not pushing her, and the
No.
show's not giving her the right song. She has such a contemporary voice. If you turn on the radio or you turn on a Spotify list with pop music on it now, this is what they sound like. She sounds like somebody like Sia. She's somebody that has the kind of voice that's popular. And I'm not a huge fan of this voice necessarily, but they should have her doing a very contemporary style of song, and they don't.
No.
But I think she can be way more popular to a general pop audience than Putri. Putri's got the better voice, but this girl's the bigger star. If this girl was on American Idol, this girl could win American Idol.
Yeah, I agree. So once again, I just think that she was given the wrong song, and I don't know that she could choose it. I don't know if she had any choice in the matter.
I don't think the choice wants. I don't think the show wanted her to go through.
Yeah, which is too bad, because she does have great potential. So my reasoning for thinking that she wouldn't be in the top 5 was only based on what she did on Tuesday, not what I think about her overall. And I don't know. I know that Simon once in a while makes the comment that, I just think it was all overproduced for certain acts. And it is true. The producers ruin the act. I mean, maybe they're trying to help out, but they're the ones who ruin it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I liked it overall. I say I didn't love it. I put her number 3 because I said other than my number 1, I didn't love any of them.
Yeah.
But I liked this quite a bit, and I wouldn't have been even mad if she got through. And I think after this show, with the right marketing, with the right songs, right people behind her, I think you can do something with her.
Yeah, she'll be the Domino Pizza girl.
Yeah, there you go.
Their new commercial personality. Who knows?
They could do summer delivery, and she would sing and be like delivering pizzas during the summer.
I think it was Domino's, wasn't it?
I think so.
I don't remember, but any case, she didn't make it through, but she could come back at some point, and if she gets scooped up by somebody else who saw it and realizes her potential, then I'm all for it. So this act, Howie probably hit it right on the nail. With it's great that people can come up with new business ideas by being on the show. Starting a franchise. Yeah.
So this was a total mess.
Yes.
This was exactly what we expected. Doesn't make any sense. I have no idea what's going on. But if I say something positive about it, I love the 90s theme. I grew up in the 90s. I'm a sucker for the 90s. I love the clothes. I love the music. I just don't like the moves, and I just don't understand what's going on. But so if somebody else did this act with these clothes and this music, I thought it's a really cool gimmick. But I have no idea what's going on here.
Well, I put this social media followers of 1,100. He actually lost a whole bunch of followers on one of his social media platforms since the show. And so, this is the guy that I said I think is already a millionaire anyway on social media. But to see him lose followers, obviously, this is not his market. And if anything, that hurt him by being on the show.
Yeah, it could hurt the franchise.
Yeah.
But how did they? Yeah, I don't know how they got through the auditions anyway. It must be like we said before. It's just because the guy has money and they have so many followers.
Yeah.
Because it's not because of talent, and it can't be because America loves them.
Well, they went after him probably because of all of his social media followers.
Yeah.
And to get, I was talking about this with my wife, and I think what NBC is trying to do is maybe they're losing TV viewers, and so they're trying to bring all these big social media acts to TV to try to move these social media people onto the network TV.
Well, I think there's something to that because I was just looking. I'd put it up if I had it, or at least a link. There was just a chart that I was looking at the other day. And it showed the amount of people who watch network TV, cable TV, Netflix, Hulu, all of that stuff. And really nobody's watching network TV anymore.
Yeah.
People are going to streaming services, but what they're really watching are clips. We live in a society of clips, right? I mean, that's what our presidential debates are. We don't have the Lincoln Douglas debates. They're not like hours long and everybody's glued to the TV.
Right.
Now, most people don't watch the presidential debates live. They'll watch a clip on YouTube that's 1 minute that's kind of funny, or they'll see a quote of something somebody said, but most people aren't watching things. And even AGT, I think a lot of people are watching the act itself on YouTube or Instagram or something, but I don't know that a lot of people are watching the episode beginning to end with commercials and everything.
I think it's the age. I don't know what that age cutoff, but I'm going to guess the 50 to 60-year-old and up might be watching the entire show.
Yeah, and that's pretty much who you get.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell who watches something by the commercials or a city. I always say this is an interesting thing. It's a little side note for everybody watching, but here's a fun thing to do next time you visit a new city. Anytime I go into a new city, I like to look at the billboards. Because when you look at the billboards, you see what's being advertised to the people there and what advertisers will spend money on, right? And so you can kind of get the pulse of a city by what is being advertised, because obviously advertisers aren't spending money on billboards if there's no market there.
Right.
So when I'm from Portland, Oregon, that's all my Blazers stuff all the time on here because I'm a huge Blazers fan, Rip City. And when you're in Portland, Oregon, and you look around at the billboards, you have things like Alaska Airlines. Everybody wants to leave Portland because it's rainy to go on vacation. There's a lot of vacation things. There's Nike and Adidas because that's where the world headquarters are. There
Yeah.
are big billboards for beer and these things. You don't have a lot of billboards for religion because it's not a very religious place. If you go down to Salt Lake City, Utah, you have a lot of things with that are come to these amusement parks or buy a new family home. There's things with religion because it's playing to the audience. And I feel like that is what we have now. AGT is advertising they're playing to the audience. They want to pick up a younger crowd. They want to pick up a social media crowd. And so they're trying to be able to get clips that will be viewed a lot more than a show that will be watched a lot.
Right.
That's what I think. They want viral videos more than a top 10 rated show.
Yeah, I believe that's what they're doing. The commercials that they show on AGT, most of them are all pharmaceutical commercials.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah, it's the same as if you watch cable news. It could be CNN, Fox, or MSNBC or anything. I turn on those channels, and you see who they're advertising to are senior citizens.
Yep.
Because that's who's watching. The people that are watching AGT, like you said, I watch live because I do this podcast. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably be a lot of people watching clips and watching the clip notes of the show. But the people sitting down watching this are, people that are old.
Right.
People 40 and younger are not sitting down watching this. They're watching the clips. And that's who they're hoping to get with people like Parent Jam. They're hoping, you watch these guys on Instagram. Now come watch their clips on our YouTube channel or on our Instagram.
Yeah, the thing that I don't get is how come NBC, for example, hasn't cracked down on the other YouTube channels that are rebroadcasting those acts?
This is a mystery. There's a guy named Rick Beato, and he has a music channel.
Okay.
That I watch quite a bit. You're a musician. You probably like his channel, but he does a series called What Makes This Song Great. So anybody that really likes music, look up Rick Beato. I'll give him a plug. He has millions of followers. Not like he needs my plug. But he breaks down like really good songs by all these different bands.
All right.
And sometimes they get blocked. And he goes, why are they blocking me? I have millions of followers. And, he'll show the guitar part, the bass part, the harmonies. And he goes, this is advertisement for these groups. This people that have never heard these songs are now going out and listening to these songs. And for some reason, the record companies want to block everybody doing all of this. It's the same as AGT. They want to block anybody using any of this stuff where really it's just advertisement for their show.
Right.
They don't want anybody advertising with their clips. It's very strange.
Well, maybe they allow it with some sort of financial gain and some sort of, you got to give us the data for views and all that kind of stuff too. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because, when they announce on AGT that an act got 100 million views, well, that wasn't on AGT's channel.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of these acts are getting more views on somebody else's channel than they are on AGT's. So
yeah,
I know this is a tangent and kind of a little bit beyond, but
I'm assuming that, and I don't know this. We should ask next time we have a guest on. We should ask this. I wonder if you have a social media account.
Okay.
So say we have social media, right? We're doing this show. Say we get on AGT. And I wonder if AGT puts us into a contract that somehow at least gives them a percentage of our social media stuff.
Could be.
Because, how they have to ask to do interviews and all these things. They might own your likeness or at least a part of your likeness once you're on the show. Which wouldn't surprise me. Because I bet if you look at somebody like True Villains, again, we didn't ask them this, But I would assume that when True Villains goes on tour now, I would assume there's some connection with AGT.
You think? Still?
I think so. It might just be if you make the final show, but it wouldn't surprise me if you make at least the live shows. Because I know American Idol has that. If you're top 12 American Idol, like basically
You're their artist.
yeah, they own you for a while. That's why they can have like the tour of the top 12 and like AGT. Even the people that don't win, some of them are still like in the Vegas shows and stuff. So
Right.
it wouldn't surprise me if there's some control of that you give up of your own likeness and of your own channels.
Could be.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true,
Me
but
neither.
I would suspect it might be.
All right. Well, I know we're kind of off topic. If we get back on and back up and say what McGavin said there, he said Summer was on American Idol this past season. So you're a prophet of the past.
Oh, okay.
Just says
Summer was an American. I didn't see that. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. No, I thought she could win. American Idol missed out on her.
Nope. Tough beans, I guess.
We spent a lot of time on Parent Jam, and we don't even like them.
Philip Bowen. This guy has a huge following. So, he's still going to make his money on social media. And I don't know if he even needs to have any other job at this point in time. I think he probably could do his thing and still make a living.
Well, I liked Howie's comment. America liked watching a man fiddle with himself. I thought that was good, but was untrue, at least for me. I don't like watching it, but apparently the rest of you do. I'm just not a fan of this guy. Well, I will give him credit. I like that he brought out the band because that's what he needed to do. He needed to bring out the band, but the music he was playing with was not fiddle music. He needed to play bluegrass or something. This, I don't understand what was going on here.
Now, I'm not a fan of him. And so to me, the music was, once again, it was insignificant because of the whole act or entertainment thing that he was doing. And where he interacted with the audience, which he's the first guy who played an instrument, or at least a fiddle anyway, or violin on the show that ever, that I can remember, that actually had the audience participate in anything that he was doing. So he went, did more than any other instrumentalist I think has ever done. And so that's what I really enjoyed about it. And, he said things in the beginning, during his act or saying things or whatever he did. And it wasn't just playing the fiddle. So it was more an act, and the fiddle was just one of the accessories that he predominantly used in putting on a show.
Yeah, I think that he entertains well. I think he has good stage presence. I don't have anything bad to say about the performance as far as what he does. And maybe this is just my bias that I'm not a fiddle fan, but the type of music didn't fit for me. And the fiddle's just not cool to me. I don't know. Well, maybe it's because I'm a rock music fan, but it's not a guitar. It's not a guitar. Guitars look cool. So at the end, he's down on his knees doing the thing. And I'm like, it looks goofy to me. Well, it doesn't look cool. It looks goofy.
But I think he has an audience. And now while we're on this, on Facebook, when we talked about the Atlanta Drum Academy, somebody put a post on one of our videos. I don't know if you saw it or not, but they said that they have been listening and following Atlanta Drum Academy for years.
Wow.
So there are people who follow them. So, that was news to me. So if somebody follows this guy and is a fiddle lover or violin lover or whatever, or they just like his personality, I get it. There are people like that. And obviously he has a I don't know what, a couple million followers or something like that. I mean, it's not a small number.
Yeah.
So he's got a market. He's found a niche where he can deliver. So
I'm sure there's people out there that like him. I mean, obviously he was top 5, so
yeah.
I mean, what do I know? I say he's a decent entertainer. He's not bad for what he does. It's just not my thing. I don't find it cool. I don't find it entertaining, but I'm not surprised he was top 5.
Yeah. Well, this show episode was entertaining to me, but I don't think I'd ever buy tickets to go watch him play for an hour.
Right.
I mean, I'd be bored, I think, within the first 5 minutes, just because it's not my thing. So,
right.
But still a great guy. So he'll make it someplace. And he's got a niche. So proud of him. Mazanzi Youth Choir. Talked about them in the beginning. Once again, they were a golden buzzer of Howie's, if I remember right. And they did put on a show. The only thing, once again, that bothered me is maybe it's just because I'm old school. I just have a real problem with people performing and they're singing with the microphone turned off. Which I think is what the background dancers were doing. And it's not as impressive to me when they're not doing the singing. Now, maybe they were, and they were just really good, but I don't think they were.
Well, the problem is you can't really do the singing.
No.
A lot, right? And that's why, any more background dancers don't, because it's so, you got to dance.
Yeah.
You can't breathe.
And I mean, if you went to see NSYNC or Backstreet Boys or something, they're all just singing to a track.
Yeah.
Your microphones aren't on. Because there's no way they could do all that dancing and sing.
So I think my comment about these guys were, number one, they shouldn't have been a golden buzzer. Number two, there's no way they should have got through. They weren't even top 5 on a bad show for me.
Well,
they were. It was like watching a college play. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But I feel like you could get a bunch of colleges around the U.S. and you could take their choir/drama department and they could do this performance.
Sure they could.
And that's what I don't feel like. This was so mind-blowing that it's just this crazy good act. Sure, it's talented, but I feel a lot of people can do this. If you go to a college play, like a good college, like they put on good quality plays.
Yeah.
And I feel it's at least as good as this.
Well, the reason that they went with it, I think, is because somebody thought I can market this group. And you can market anybody if you believe in them. Not to say that everybody's going to like them.
Yeah.
And this is probably just the group they chose. So I don't know what else to say. I would have never given them the golden buzzer. I'm surprised that they got it. I'm not upset that they went through to the live or to the finals. But I just think there were other acts that probably I would rather see. If I was to go to the live show, there's other acts that I think I would prefer to see than this one.
So you'd say it's a deserving top 2.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm okay with them going through. I just didn't think that they would. So
really, yeah. Well, I didn't think they wouldn't at all. I was thinking maybe they're top 5. But there was no way I thought they were going to be a top 2. Yeah. Even at the end, like when they were top 3, I was like, there's no way they can be going through. I'm like, Putrid's going through for sure. And then I'm like, it's got to be Warrior Squad, I suppose. And then these guys went through. So
yeah, I was surprised. So I still would have rather seen her one up there.
Yeah. Well, how he's not up there is mystery within itself.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll bring him back. All right, Justin Jackson, great tap dancer, but that's all he did. And I mentioned last week that I had hoped that he would add something else to his act, and he didn't, other than a jump rope, which didn't hold the line for me.
So I said Philip needed to do something else with the fiddle, and he brought out the band. I didn't like the background music, but he did something else other than fiddle.
Right.
I give him credit for that. Justin needed to do something other than tap dance. He didn't. I didn't like it the first time. I didn't like it the second time. There's nothing really to say about this other than it's just boring to me. It's just straight up boring.
Well, he's really good at it.
Sure, he's good at it. It's just boring. It's like people doing Rubik's Cubes. You know, they're good at it. It's just boring to watch.
Exactly.
I mean, I like watching the Rubik's Cube if it's like 20 seconds or less. It's cool. But I don't want to watch it for 5 minutes.
Right.
And that's the way if you tap dance for 30 seconds or less, I'm like, oh, that's kind of like neat. But doing a whole show like this, like, come on, I don't want to sit through this.
Well, most of his videos are like, street performances or doing it in a gym with a bunch of people around and having a contest or whatever. And that's the kind of acts that all of his videos are. So nothing.
Yeah, this guy just showed up, and I'm in a high school gym, and I'm talking to him. He's like, "Check this out," and he started tap dancing. I'd be like, "Oh wow,
there you go.
That's pretty neat."
Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and he could even stand on his toes like a ballerina or something. You think he did that?
But just watching this, no thanks.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. So really good guy, really good at tap dancing. I just don't want to watch it. So Moss Brass or MOS, I think they said Moss Brass on the TV.
Yeah,
so
I think they said Moss Brass or Moss Brass.
Yep. I will say that they put on a very good show. And that's what made it entertaining. Once again, the music was pretty much insignificant. As a matter of fact, the music that I did catch was extremely boring for what they were playing. But what it made it worth watching was the dancing around and moving. That was the entertainment part.
So
the music was very weak.
I didn't love it, but again, I liked it. So good enough to be top 5 on a week show for me. The things I liked is I love their look. These girls got a great look. They have a cool style. And they're females who play brass. So they have a little niche there. And I don't see them as a solo act. I can picture them backing somebody. I can totally picture like a singer, let's say Summer Rios. I think they could team well with her. If she was singing a pop song and they were in the background kind of playing something, but more like kind of dancing, it would be a fun stage. It would be a fun concert.
Like Chicago.
They would be, like Chicago. They would be fun to watch live if they had some good songs and they had like a good singer and stuff. Right. Yeah, these girls wouldn't sing, but they're great in the background. I think they put on a good show.
Well, that's kind of what Howie said. He said he imagines them part of a bigger act.
Yeah, they're part of a bigger act where you need a front person. Yeah. And they're back there and they put on a good show and yeah, there you go.
I got this fly flying around me.
With them.
It's entertaining me, I guess. I don't have a fly swatter. Part of the show. I guess I'll live with it. So I wouldn't have been upset if they would have gone through to the finale. But then again, I really didn't want them to or didn't think that they should be. But I wouldn't have been out of shape if they did. Because they were good enough. They were entertaining. So And I agree with you. They do have a look that works, but they just need to be part of a bigger act.
Yeah.
So
We got 2 more.
yep. This guy, I had higher hopes for him. He was not funny. I don't know why he picked this particular skit to do. It's kind of a nice story. I mean, if I was sitting down on my couch and someone was telling me this, I'd be okay with it. But I didn't laugh at the whole thing. And the odd thing about this guy is this was his follower increase since he's been on this show, 363,000 people. So he's obviously doing something, but man, why didn't he bring a funny act onto AGT?
Yeah, I didn't laugh at all. In fact, I wasn't sure what was going on.
No.
I wasn't sure what the act was. Because it wasn't like a funny story that built up to something, and it wasn't just like that went nowhere, but it was really funny either. It was just nothing. I feel like the act never started. It was almost like he was talking about an act or something. I don't know, but there's nothing to this.
Yeah, it was all an intro for an act, and he never got to the act.
Yeah.
And I've watched a couple of his videos. He's actually a really funny guy, but this thing he did not. Man, I don't know if I hope that I can put all the blame on him, saying, "Man, you choose the wrong act to do." And it wasn't. Hopefully, it wasn't one where the producer says, "Well, we're going to pick the one that you're going to do."
Well, I didn't really think it was funny to begin with, but I probably smiled a time or two his first act. But this one was just a train wreck.
Well, I liked his first act.
No way he was going to get through.
Yeah, the judges liked his first act a whole lot better too. So he blew it. And I thought he had a chance of going through. And after he did this thing, it's like, nah, no way. No. He's not going to get the votes. So,
all right. Well, I guess now we got 2 more. I thought we had 2 more, but now we got 2.
All right. My favorite act of the night. I would have bought tickets to see this guy. And I think even the price would probably be insignificant. I just thought he was so incredible. Even if he didn't use the swords, he put on a great act. So this act belongs in Vegas. It belongs someplace where people can see it.
How this could not get top 5 is criminal. How did not get through to the finals is crazy. But how it did not just get top 5 is I have no idea how that happened. First off, everything is cool. Well, this act was just cool.
Yep.
Like you said, without the swords, but everything is cooler with swords.
Right.
I've come to realize on AGT, if you stick a sword in your mouth and do something, it's cooler than without it.
Right.
And this is one of those things where you could say maybe it was a danger act, but it doesn't feel like a danger act. It's dangerous and he's doing these things, but he's so graceful as he does them. You don't feel like he's in danger. And usually I like to feel like they're kind of in danger, but that's what I'm watching, a danger act. This I didn't. I felt like I was watching a legit performance that was with swords in the guy's mouth that just made it cooler. I love his outfit. I love his storytelling. I love his gracefulness. This is the only act of the night that I said, I really like this. This deserves to be in the finals, and it definitely is heads and shoulders above every other act tonight.
Yep. Totally agree.
And somehow it didn't, I don't know. I don't know why people didn't vote for him.
Maybe because some people are voted are the people used to looking at little tiny screens.
And I don't know what's wrong with Simon. I don't know. Simon seems weird lately because he's been saying this during the results show. America always is just always getting it right. They're always getting it right. How is
They
he
all
saying this
said it
with a
this
straight
time. It's like,
face?
oh my goodness, stop it.
He used to say like sometimes they didn't, but he's been saying they always get it right. There's like, how could he say they get it right when this guy's not even in the running to go through?
Yeah, they got it wrong. 100%.
They definitely got it wrong. And to me, that's not even debatable.
I don't know. It's messed up.
All right. Well,
Not
her
so.
one should go through, and we all know it.
That's right. And
Let's say McGavin in the YouTube chat says he would have had a better chance of going through doing aerial without the swords. America hates danger. They never do well in voting. I agree with you, McGavin. Remember you saying that before, as America hates danger acts. I think you're right. I think he would have done better without the swords, and that's a shame because the swords are what makes it so cool.
but it didn't seem like that much of a danger act, like you said.
Yeah.
It was completely entertaining. It wasn't he wasn't set on fire, and I mean, it was an acrobat. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if he was if he was a danger act, then so was Warrior Squad.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a danger act. So anyway, this girl, really good voice, and what I really liked about this performance is it was almost without the piano. This is almost a solo that she delivered, and that's what I thought was so incredible about the performance. The piano was just almost just an object sitting there that, okay, I'll play a few chords with it, and then I don't really need it otherwise. And she didn't. So I really like that.
I think I'm in the minority here.
Okay.
But I hated this arrangement of this song. It's such a good song, such an iconic song, and I hated the arrangement. I think her vocals were good, but if we're going off this performance, I mean, I just hated the arrangement so bad.
That's okay. That's a fair assessment.
Did you like the arrangement of the song?
You know what? The particular song wasn't as significant as was her voice and her singing. That was almost the specific song was almost insignificant to me. So it didn't.
She had to. So they didn't have. I was reading an article. They didn't have permission to use that song because U2 isn't a band that people can perform, I guess. Right. But she got special permission from them to perform this song for this episode.
Well,
because apparently the band's a fan of her. Look at her social media increase. 2.4 million, over 2.4 million people.
Yeah, she started out at like, I think 300,000 or something. I think that's what it was. It was incredible.
But she's another one with a niche.
Yep.
You know, she has a certain look, a certain sound, and she's somebody you can market, but I think she's a novelty act. I really do. And I don't say that to be mean because I think she has all the talent in the world, but I don't picture her as a top 10 Spotify artist or Apple Music artist for 16-year-olds. I don't see her as a pop star.
She will be headlining the AGT show in Las Vegas. That's what I see her as doing.
And a lot of the people that will be cheering for her and watching her will be adults. And that's fine, but she's not a pop star.
No, she's not. And the reason I say that is because she wasn't wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. She didn't have the Stevie Wonder look.
Well, all pop stars who are blind are always wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Johnny Millsap, or not Johnny Millsap, Ronnie Millsap, uh, uh, Stevie Wonder, etc. All wore sunglasses. So she's gonna have to change if she wants to enter the pop market.
So as we wrap up, I want to say, and I said this last week,
Where is she?
there should never be X's at this stage of the game. If there are buzzers, if you're giving people the X, that's on you, the judges. You put these people through. You have all these good auditions, and if you're putting somebody through that deserves to get an X this round, then shame on you for putting them in this round, because obviously there could have been better people for us to watch.
Yes. Now I'm going
It
to.
would be very rare for me to ever give an X on a live show if I'm putting people through.
I'm going to defend the judges here and play the judge's advocate here, because I don't know that all these people that went through to the this particular round, I don't know that all of them were given the okay by all four judges.
Sure.
So I know that Howie, some of them he didn't like when they performed, and he didn't like them now again when they were on there again, and he made that clear.
Yeah, I can give you that. I can give you that. If you weren't one of the judges that voted to put them through, then I'll give you a pass on buzzing them.
All right.
Yeah, but if you didn't, I mean, if you did want to put them through and then you're giving them an X, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, was it Parent Jam that Howie gave them an X?
Yeah.
And I think he was the same opinion first time around.
They were the only X, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he liked him the first time around, and he didn't like him the second time around. So
let's go through really quick see who we got next week.
Sure, let's do that. Where are we?
Yeah, we got a few good ones.
Where's the oops, Finale X? Where did that? All right. Few good ones. Yes, we do. Who do you think will be in the top 5?
Okay, so let's see. Who do we got here? I'm going to say my top 5.
Shadow Ace hands down. Top 5.
Anna de Guzman.
Yeah, she's the magician.
She's the magician.
Yeah.
Chibi Unity. The only golden buzzer I thought should have been a golden buzzer. I'm going to put them.
Cowbells. I know they're coming.
Puppet Simon and Cowbells,
yeah.
for sure. They're going through. Shadow Ace for sure. And then the fourth one, the fifth one's going to be hard. Let's see. There's a couple. Zion Clark, I remember being pretty good.
I don't know what he's going to do different, though.
I don't know what he's going to do. Oh, yeah, he's the guy. Yeah, because
he told the story.
Yeah, he told the story. You're right. He's not going to go through. He can't do anything different. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I have a fifth. Because those are the clear 4 for me.
Well, the ones that aren't going through, maybe that's easier. Freedom Singers, I don't see them being in the top 5.
True.
Roland Abante, even the videos that I see that and the posts that he makes, it's like he's not going through. He doesn't. I don't think he has the followers to get him.
I think he might go through. Does he not have the followers?
No, I don't think he has.
I thought he had a big following, but maybe not.
Let me Give me a sec here. Roland, where are you? He has a total of almost 59,000 followers
Oh,
as of
I thought he
August
had
8th.
more.
No, I don't think he's big enough. And seeing all the acts of watching some of his videos, it's like, nah, he's not going through. And I say that not because he's a bad singer. I say that because I don't think he can get the votes on AGT. DeCorey Johnson, no, I don't think he'll make it through. He doesn't have much of a following either. He's a young kid, too.
I don't think he'll make it.
Freedom Singers, it's all one person who heads up the group, and I don't think she's going to take him through. Kylie Fry might have a chance in the top 5, but what I
She has a
think,
chance in the top 5. She doesn't have a chance to go through.
yeah. But I think what's going to happen though is Zion Clark is going to get a whole bunch of votes. That's going to put him into the top 5. And
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think he has a legit shot at the top 5. He shouldn't, but I think he does.
Yeah, me too. Mariana Andrea, I can't remember her act enough. It's obviously a forgettable act.
Yeah.
So I can't say that she's going to go through. Maybe she'll wow an Ami or something, but
She was a dancer. And yeah, I don't remember a lot about her act either. But I remember it being cool.
That's what she did. Okay. Well,
I do remember it being cool. But I think maybe it was like in the same thing I said about Warrior Squad. Is it's cool and forgettable.
I get it. Kylie Fry, I think, has a personality, and she's a young girl, so I could see her getting the vote, getting support from the fans just because of her personality. And I don't know that she's the greatest performer. And I'm trying to remember what song she did. She did something that was, the Horses in Heaven or something. That's what it was. Her dad died, and so he's riding a horse in heaven or something like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah. The song wasn't the greatest song, but she did have a band behind her. So hopefully, I'm hoping that she does something up-tempo and she puts on a show, and that will put her through if she can do that. But if she stands up there and sings another ballad, she's not. It's not going to happen. So, yeah.
Okay, so who are the two? So I say Shadow Ace,
Yes,
Anna, Cowbells, and Chibi Unity are the clear 4 for me.
Yep.
They're my 4 favorite, but they're clear 4 to go through. I could see any 4 of those going through, but if you're gonna make me put money on it, Chibi Unity, because all the golden buzzers have been going through. So I'd bet on them.
Well, for the top 2,
yeah, to see
and that's Shadow Ace and Chibi Unity.
Who?
Shadow Ace and Chibi Unity.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think if I've got to put money on who's going through, I think it's them. Cowbells and Anna are dark horses, but I think Chibi and Shadow Ace are going to have too many fans.
Yeah.
And I think they're both going to be deserving, honestly. But I see this and I'm like, this is not fair because this last week's show, nobody was as good as these 4 for me. At least their first act. So we'll see. But it's possible we have like 5 acts in this show that I think are better than all the acts that we just talked about.
Well,
I'm looking forward to this episode. I think this is going to be a strong episode. It's going to be like when we watched the second auditions. There were people that were really good that didn't get through.
And it could be that Orlando, that he delivers a really good comedy routine.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a fifth.
So,
There's going to be a fifth act in here somewhere I think that I'm going to really like.
yeah.
I can't see them now, but there's 4 that are solid. There's going to be a fifth one that's a dark horse that I'm going to say, oh, what about these guys?
Yep. I could see Anna de Guzman if she picks the wrong act or something. She could screw up, but she's got her looks to make up for it. So
yeah, yeah, and that's gonna help her.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know.
All right. Well,
Everybody else, good luck. I wish you the best, and hope that the rest will do well. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we got anything else for this week?
I don't really have anything else. Don't have any guests scheduled at this point in time. I've said here, whoever Alvin Sanchez is, I didn't see them in the chat. So
I didn't see you in the chat, Alvin, but thanks for watching if you're there.
they must have, maybe they were just on, one of the lives.
One of the live streams somewhere.
I don't know that we can view those names, can we?
I don't think so. I don't know. Well, let's how about we wrap this up?
Right. Yes. Let's wrap it.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. You can always find me on X, formerly known as Twitter. Right there. There's my handle. You can see what I'm up to. If you want to follow the Miles Revolution, you can find the Miles Revolution channel on YouTube. That's where all these videos are, but also on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, and even on LinkedIn. You can find it. So we've got this show streaming live on all those platforms. If you like us, we always say give us subscribe, like our videos. It always helps us out. Make a comment. We love hearing everybody from the comment section all the time. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you so much. We're always live here every Thursday, 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. And we are Mixlam and the Miles Revolution, and we are two freaks doing a show. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
All right.